Welcome back to another installment of Thor's Thoughts. I'm your host, Thor. Welcome to the Thor corner of Base Boy Banner Studios, or as I like to call it, the Thorner. So a little bit of Thor's Thoughts is going to be on Dragon Ball Super Brawly. Went and saw that movie last night in the theaters. We'll get to that here in a second. I want to get some housekeeping out of the way real quick. Got a couple changes coming. Base Boy Banner is going to go back to a longer format for the main show, which I think is a good thing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to break down the segments into, or break down the full show into segments and then put those up online for you. So if you want a little bit shorter videos, those will be there. If you want the longer podcast, that'll be there as well. We just felt that kind of some of the banter had been taken out of Base Boy Banter, so we wanted to get back to what we do. And you know, I think it's going to be for the best. I'm not going to post every chunk of the show. It'll just be specific segments I break out and then post those. We're going to call them the BBB Breakdown. So it'll have its own playlist, and then it'll be separate videos from the main video, obviously. Base Boy Banter episode 123 went up yesterday. I'll probably drop the first BBB breakdowns today, maybe shortly after I'm done shooting this. But yeah, so let's get right into it. Base Boy Banner, Thor's Thoughts, Dragon Ball Super Brawly. I'll try to make sure I got audio here, or let me know in the chat. I'm going to open up the chat for everybody. But we went and saw it last night about 7 o'clock. It was a packed house. They had two showings at the theater we went to, and both were, oh yeah, we got audio. And both were sold out. We ended up sitting in the handicap row. Nice thing about it is it started at 7:05. No previews. Literally, they showed the little commercial piece that they have in there, and then we got right into the movie. And I love that because I don't want 15 minutes of preview. And this turned out to be a little bit longer of a Dragon Ball movie than usual. It's about an hour and 40 minutes, hour 45 or so, of just awesome Dragon Ball goodness. So kind of break it down for you, give you guys my thoughts. We did a 5-minute review on the Facebook page yesterday, so you can find that there. But I'll give my grades here at the end, or my grade for this at the end as well. But starting off, the first 10 minutes of the film really takes place in like Planet Vegeta before Frieza blows it up. King Cold makes an appearance, and actually it's the day he steps down as being like the Emperor of the Galaxy and hands over the reins to Frieza. Frieza's pretty much like, I'm going to be much more ruthless. I hate you monkeys, blah, blah, blah. So what I like that they did here is they actually rewrote the origin of Brawly. So Brawly was in a not time capsule. Brawly was in like a baby chamber, like they have the Saiyans in. So was Prince Vegeta, and they were all kind of on this pedestal. And King Vegeta comes in, and he's like, you know, why is this low level nothing here by my son? And they're like, well, his latent power, his latent fighting ability is, you know, higher than your son's. And King Vegeta doesn't like that, so he sends Brawly to this like bug planet, and Brawly's dad finds out about it, takes a spaceship, escapes Planet Vegeta, and they crash land. I can't remember the name of the planet, but it's full of bug creatures, and they crash land there with one other Saiyan dude but they kill him early because it makes the rations last longer. And like I said in the theater, then you could eat him too. I mean, you know, we don't know that Saiyans aren't cannibals back in this time because it was 41 years prior to like the present day Dragon Ball Super storyline. And they did mention like the Tournament of Power in this movie. So it does take place after kind of the wrap of Dragon Ball Super, the series, which I thought was cool. I don't know if it's, you know, the movie canon versus the series canon has always been fluctuated. So I don't know if this falls in the movie canon or if it's kind of like a hybrid 50-50. But the style of the first 10 minutes of the film was something that I really enjoyed because it was kind of a throwback to older Dragon Ball Z. Maybe like the early stages, like season 1, season 2. The animation looked kind of grainy. It looked older, and it was supposed to be older. So I like that little, you know, I like that little piece that they threw in there. You got to see Goku's mom for the first time. I got to see Bardock being a badass. Just seeing him made me want them to redo a Bardock film, because he doesn't die because they blow up Planet Vegeta just like normal. Frieza kills them all. And at the time, Raditz and Vegeta are off on a different planet, and they're like children. They're like maybe 10 or something like that. But when the movie starts, they're about 5, 3, 4 maybe in the chambers. Maybe not even. Maybe even like 2, because they're not like infants, but they're like younglings in the chambers that they're like letting them develop in. So everything kind of goes as planned that way. But the nice, like I was saying, Broly's origin being rewritten was cool because in the original he had a real problem with Goku because they were in the chambers next to each other and Goku cried a lot. But Goku wasn't even born at the time of Broly and Vegeta's birth in this movie. And all their beef is with King Vegeta and subsequently Prince Vegeta because it just transfers the hatred from Broly's father and Broly to this because they get stuck on that planet, the bug planet, for about 30 years. So you fast forward to present day time, and like I said, Frieza's alive because it takes place after Dragon Ball Super. So spoilers, Goku actually revives Frieza after the Tournament of Power like he says he's going to do. If you've been watching the English version, that just happened. So kind of spoilers, but whatever. I wasn't too mad about that. So Frieza's actually on the hunt for some Dragon Balls. Some Dragon Balls get stolen from Bulma's house. And Bulma's pissed because she wanted the Dragon Balls to wish herself 5 years younger. We come to find out Frieza took them, not to wish for immortality, not to wish to, get stronger or anything, but just to wish to be 5 centimeters taller, which was a weird kind of jump point for this story, but it's fine. So Frieza's men are out kind of scouring the galaxy looking for strong fighters for Frieza. Frieza's near Earth, but he's kind of holding back while his men capture the Dragon Balls. And that's when we run into Broly, who's like a teenager at this point. Or not teenager, he'd be like 40-something at this point. And his dad's an old gray man. And they've been living just those two on that planet for like 30-some years. So the two Frieza people, it was like Lemon something. They had like fruity-ish names. But it was like an old man Frieza unit guy, Frieza Force guy, and then like a girl Frieza Force guy who was like a thief. They stumble upon Broly and his dad. They take them back to Frieza's ship. Frieza's like, you're Saiyans and you hate the same people I hate, let's team up. And then subsequently, right at that same time, the members of the Frieza Force that were going after the Dragon Balls get the Dragon Balls. So this is all within, I'd say, about the first 15, 20 minutes of the film, maybe half hour. And then they take Broly to Earth. And then Goku and them, they all meet in Antarctica because that's where the 7th Dragon Ball is. So this all takes place on they call it the ice continent, but whatever. So then Broly shows up. And they just start fighting. Literally, he just starts going after Vegeta. And it starts off with him and Vegeta. Now, Broly really doesn't have any great fighting ability at this point. He can't transform. He's never really fought anybody of any level above his dad. And his dad topped out, I think, at like 4,200 in his prime for power level. And that's, if you know anything about Dragon Ball, that's a very, very, very low level compared to what like Goku can power up to nowadays, Vegeta, so on and so forth. Oh, Lord Beerus got stuck being a babysitter for the whole movie watching Bulla, which I thought was a good, gave him something to do and a reason to not be near the fight. And Whis, Bulma, Vegeta, and Goku are the ones who go to the ice continent and encounter Broly and his father, Paragon, I think his name is. But yeah, so then the fight ensues. The fight starts, like I said, about 30 minutes into the film, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, give or take. But the fight starts with Vegeta and Broly just going at it, and Broly's kind of learning on the fly. His latent fighting power is rising as Vegeta's power is rising, and then Goku jumps in the fight. They go Super Saiyan God with like the red hair. We don't see blue hair yet, but every time Goku or Vegeta go up a notch, Broly goes up a notch, and his rage goes up a notch because another thing that they did actually keep is he's not in control of his power, right? It's an uncontrollable power that has nowhere near mastered. So the fight ensues, and it just goes on. It's a long fight. It is a long, well-done fight. There's some points where the camera's like a little and they could have done a little bit better shots, but overall, the fight itself is magnificent. I'm not going to break it down blow by blow or transformation by transformation. But definitely when you get a chance to go see it, it is still in theaters today. And I don't know if it's in theaters through the weekend. I just saw showings for last night and today. So if you do get a chance, I highly recommend going to see it in the theaters with a bunch of Dragon Ball fans. It was a great experience last night. Just seeing it with all the Dragon Ball nerds in the community and stuff like that. It was awesome. I saw one of my old employees was there who's into anime. It was just a fun time overall. But like I said, the fight goes on for about an hour 45, or not hour. Yeah, about an hour. The fight goes on for about an hour. The total movie's about an hour 45. And they keep powering up. Vegeta fights, then Goku fights, then they both fight. And by this time, Broly's just at a level they can't even deal with. Because like I said, it was a nice touch is how they talked about his latent fighting ability in the beginning of the movie and how that progressed throughout the movie, and it was like that through line for him, and also the uncontrollability of it. So Goku and Vegeta are pretty much wrecked, and at one point Piccolo contacts Goku via like telepathy, and Goku's like, a little busy right now, you know, I'll come to you if I need you. So right when they're about donezo, they sick Broly on Frieza, because Frieza's been there just watching the whole thing. He ends up killing Broly's dad to make him transform into a Super Saiyan and go all out, because he remembers blowing up Krillin and how that affected Goku, which was a nice throwback to that part of Dragon Ball Z as well. But then they use that to Frieza kills his dad and then says he got hit by a wild blast or something, and then Broly just loses it, goes Super Saiyan, comes out of this pit with these glowing red eyes, and he's got a green aura-ish kind of to him. But then he's just wrecking shop. So, like I said, Goku and Vegeta are fighting him. They actually sick him on Frieza somehow, and then instant transmission to Piccolo. And Piccolo's like, got no senzu beans for you guys, you know. And Goku's like, well, fusion. We're gonna have to do it. We don't have the earrings. You know, Vegeta, we're doing the dance. And Vegeta's like, nope, don't want to do it. He starts blushing. They screw up a couple times. There's a fat one, a skinny one. Very similar to when Gotenks did it the first time. And each time they had to wait 30 minutes for it to go away before they could try it again. And while that's going on, Frieza's just getting destroyed by Broly. He turns Gold Frieza. Not even Gold Frieza can keep up with Broly in that raged Super Saiyan, you know, legendary Super Saiyan state. Which I thought was a great touch, because it kind of gets his little comeuppance for kind of starting the whole thing. But yeah, so then Goku and Vegeta finally get it right. They form into Gogeta, right? Because when they use the earrings, they're Vegito. When they use the fusion dance, they're Gogeta. So this is the first time they turned into Gogeta in the Super series. They're kind of disconnecting themselves from some of the Dragon Ball Z movies where certain things took place. Obviously rewriting Broly's history, the Gogeta stuff, so on and so forth. But then Gogeta goes back to the fight, and he's, you know, holding his own. He's got it. He's pretty much going to wipe Broly out. Now, while this is going on, the two Frieza Force guys who found Broly and his dad, they kind of formed a relationship throughout the movie. They stole the Dragon Balls, and they go to use them right kind of at the climax of the fight. And I thought they were going to like give Broly control of his power or calm him down, or they were going to do something to that effect. But they made their wish, which was weird because Shenron only granted one wish instead of two, which whatever, it's not a big deal, but it's just kind of something I noticed. And they wish for Broly to be sent back to the the bug planet that he grew up on. Because there's a really sweet story Broly tells at one point in the film about how his only friend there was like this giant green fur monster that comes up out of the ground to eat the bugs. And his dad didn't like that, so he ended up cutting his ear off, and he like wears his ear as like a remembrance. But this is a very well done movie. I cannot express like how much you should definitely go see this movie if you have the chance, or when it comes out on streaming, you know, these services, definitely check it out. But she wishes for Broly to be sent back to the bug planet. And I was like, okay, I don't get it. You know, like this was super anticlimactic. Gogeta was literally about to blast the super duper Kamehameha, and that's when the wish takes place. And Frieza was obviously pissed because he was going to use it. Bulma was less than. They didn't really show her reaction to the wish getting used, but whatever. Frieza was mostly irritated. And then the two Frieza Force dudes escape, and they go to meet Broly on that planet because the girl Frieza Force guy who's like the thief has a thing for Broly or something. Whatever, it's fine. It was just another, you know, side storyline that was going on through the movie, because the fighting is really the main part of this movie. This is a beautiful fight. It's a beautiful 1 hour perfect fight to me. But it ends and Frieza's like, all right, he's gonna be my greatest weapon. He's gonna be my greatest warrior ever. I'll let him live on that planet with those people. I won't go after him and, you know, kill the Frieza Force guys for taking my wish and stealing one of my ships. I'll just let him get control of them, so then I can use them for my needs down the line. And then they go to the bug planet, and they're kind of showing them with no food. They only got like 50 days of food. They're just kind of sitting there in a cave, and Goku shows up. He instant transmissions there, and he's like, I'm not here to fight, you know, I just wanted to say, like, you know, that was awesome. And I brought you guys some stuff. He brought him like a bunch of capsules. He brought him a house, like fully furnished, stocked house. And he's like, hey, all I ask is you let me come train with Broly occasionally. And nobody had a problem with it. Broly was really cool about it. So they really set it up nicely for a second movie. And I appreciated that. I didn't think we were going to get that, especially I don't think we were going to get that good of a setup. And how well it kind of tied up at the end, but then left it wide open for more Brawly. Because I'm all for more Brawly. I've loved Brawly. I hated Bio Brawly. But the first two Brawly movies are pretty good. The first one arguably is probably the best one until this one. This for me is the best Brawly Dragon Ball movie that exists to me. I think it's better than the first Dragon Ball, or the first Dragon Ball Z Brawly, the second one, and obviously Bio Brawly is like an abomination. So, you know, it definitely far exceeds those three. Is it the best Dragon Ball Z movie ever? I've seen some people say that online. I don't know if I'd be willing to jump up on that train yet. Maybe with a couple more viewings. There's still some ones I really like from the olden days. You know, Tree of Might's always one of my favorites. You know, Cooler's Return is pretty good. The Trunks movie's really good. They've had, you know, the first two Dragon Ball Super movies, or I think those were actually Dragon Ball Z movies. Resurrection F and Battle of the Gods were both really done, because this is a different style than those two movies. Like I said, Goku's gi was a little bit more muted. His orange jumpsuit thing, it was much more muted in color than it normally is, and that bothered me a little bit through the movie, but not terribly, not enough to like take me out of it or make me like the movie any less. We graded it last night. We gave it an A-. Well, Brian gave it 4.5 Gogetas out of 5. But I gave it an A-. So that's pretty much both us giving it A-. But yeah, definitely go check it out. That was the movie. Like I said, it's about an hour, 45 minutes. If you get a chance to see it in theaters, do so, because it's worth it. The visuals alone, I mean, you just sit back and there's points where your mouth's just open and you're just watching that Dragon Ball fighting goodness. And there's no time for like elongated power-ups or, you know, a drawn out segments. It's boom, 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 you know, battle, battle, battle. So if you've got a chance to see the movie, let me know your thoughts on it. Let me know what you graded it, and where it maybe lies in the, you know, pantheon of Dragon Ball movies throughout history. But until the next video, like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. This has been Thor from the Thorner. We'll see you next time. Deuces!